All right. Hello, everybody. This is Ryan over at High Carb Regenerator. I don't think anybody needs an introduction to who I've got on me with the today, Durian Rider. I'll post all his links down below. I just wanted to ask him a few questions and let's get started. So welcome to my channel.
Thanks, Ryan, for having me on. We finally got it organized.
Yeah, finally.
I'm pretty hopeless with time, logistics and all that stuff.
I get it. It's all mine.
Yeah, we made it happen.
Yeah. Actually, the first question I always ask everybody is how exactly did you get started on vegan? Now, I know I've seen your videos. You talked about like a vegan patty or something like that from your friend, and it kind of went from there. Yeah,
it was in 1999. Actually, went back further than that. It was probably in 1989. Next door, I lived in Nambour, Queensland, Australia, and there was some hippies, some vegetarian, maybe they were vegan, I don't know, but they were veggie hippies lived next door, and they invited us, me and my mum, over for like a veggie meal. And I was just thinking, man, I don't eat that crap. Mum's like, oh, I'll make you something special afterwards. Just be polite and go over there. They invited us. So I went over there and had this dinner, and I was like, man, this food's damn good. All right. I remember it was wholesome. It was really, really good. And then 10 years after that, my friend Jade bought me a vegan burger at a place called Veg on Loving It, which was the longest running vegan cafe in Australia. It's unfortunately closed down now because of the COVID stuff. But Jade bought me a burger, and he said, I'm about to get a bit burger, tofu burger. I'm like, I don't eat tofu, bro. And he goes, oh, have a bite. If you don't like it, I'll eat it. So anyway, Jade bought me this burger, and I was just like, damn, this is a good burger. It's the best burger I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And went from there.
Now, have you ever had weight issues, or was it more of an ethical thing for you?
Every cyclist has weight issues because in cycling and running, weight's everything. So it's a big thing. So I had issues where I was like trying to be lighter for the climbs and maximize my wattage per kilo. But I've never been like obese. I would be obese now though if I didn't, luckily stumble across this lifestyle, high carb, low fat. I definitely would be obese because I love to eat. I'm not a person who can do calorie restriction. Yeah. Some people can. Some people can moderate their food volume. I can't. Like every single meal I eat is way beyond any nutritionist recommendations. There's no nutritionist in the world who say 10 bananas or 20 bananas or dumping sugar on your food is good. Yeah. No nutritionist. So I'm technically a binge eater every single meal. And you can see how lean my face is. So I never had any weight issues, but I would have weight issues if I didn't get a lifestyle back when I did. By luck. Just by pure luck, I got into this lifestyle.
Well, it's done you well. So you got started Fruitarian originally, or were you kind of a cooked food vegan?
I was vegan in April 2001. So 21 years ago, there's a magazine in Australia called Vegan Voice, and I read that, and it had an article about dairy in there. And I was thinking, dairy, that sounds like a dodgy industry. I don't want to support that. And then, so I thought, I'll go vegan. And the next day after cutting out dairy, I just could breathe better. All right. And my gut, the main thing with dairy for me was my gut. It would just be like lactose intolerance. And I'd be like, oh, my gut's all gassy. And I just, felt wrong. So that's what I noticed is my gut was better. And when your gut's better as a cyclist, you can breathe better.
Yeah.
You have less bloat. So I noticed that. And then in that Vegan Voice magazine, there was an article by a guy called Mango Wozdak. And he was talking about fruitarianism. And I was like, that sounds pretty logical as well. So I started dabbling with that a little bit. But now I was, eating fruit for breakfast, aka Raw Till 4 style from 2001 onwards. And then 2002 got more into eating all raw foods, etc. And I played with that. So over 20 years ago now, it goes quick.
Yeah. And so you stayed fruitarian for how long then?
When I was pure fruit. Yeah, I was fruitarian, raw foodist, I'd say, from 2005, October 2005 through to February 2010, in 100% raw food, like full, the full orthorexia style, 100% raw is law, nature's first law stuff, cooked food's poison, blah, blah, blah. But then my performance was just suffering. I'm like, what am I doing? This is dumb. So I added back in starches and added sugars, and rest is history.
Yeah. So how exactly did you add in back in? I mean, I've seen the videos, but I just wanted to so you started with potatoes originally. when you came
Yeah,
back?
it was, I went out with Freely's mom to a Don Tolman seminar in February 2010. And we were house sitting a joint up in Balambal Heights, Queensland. And so me and Lindy, Freely's mum, went out that night, Don Tolman. And I came back and I was like, Freely's acting a bit suspicious, a bit weird. She's like, I did something really weird tonight. I cooked up some potatoes. And I said, you know what? You know, we're full Foodists back then. I was like, you had potatoes? And she said, yeah. I said, how'd you feel? She goes, feel great. That tastes amazing. Feel fine. I'm like, okay. Any left? I'll try them out. And so it's potatoes, just potatoes. And then a few days later, I introduced some oats back into my diet, oats for dinner. And literally next day, the power on my bike went up. Like the watts, so I use a thing called a power meter. I can measure my watts. My watts went back up. I'm like, this is where it's at. And so then added in sugar, table sugar, and then boom, rest is history. So yeah. And Freely, that's when she started really losing weight. When she added in cooked foods, her weight really dropped off. That was significant because I've always been lean as a vegan. You know, I never had any sort of, I was never like, tubby, but Freely being girl, they want to be as slim as possible, and so she lost a lot of weight after that when she added in cooked foods, cooked starches, refined sugar being the main one. And then she turned her up real quick.
Now, speaking of Freely, I guess she's got a frugivore. I watched her channel a little bit, and she just calls rice and everything bunker food. Now, I don't quite get it. What's your thought on that?
She just, I was talking to her in August last year. I talked to her occasionally on email since, and I just like, what are you doing? Like the very program, my protocols that turned you from 73 kilos down to 50 kilos, you're bagging that. And that's the program that you sold and made close to over $1 million Australian.
Yeah.
I know you're bagging that, but you're still selling it and advertising it. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's just, okay, it's a female thing, like women change their mind in a second. They're like cats. 1 minute, yes, next minute, no. So it's a very feminine thing. And so she flips and flops and blah, blah, blah with what she recommends. But at the end of the day, what she does and what she did to get the fitness and weight loss that she loved and had and making the impact and the income was my protocol, fruit for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and or rice for dinner with sugars as well. That's what works.
Yeah.
Raw food doesn't work.
I was going to ask you, so somebody wants to lose all their weight. Like, do you think they can do it on raw, or you think?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because it depends what raw food you're eating as well. But no, you will. Like even if someone's like obese, man, like 300 kilos, like 500 pounder who does all raw, even if they're eating just cashews and stuff, they'll still lose a lot of weight because they're eating less fat. To get to 500 pounds, that's some serious disciplined fat eating.
It's dedication.
That's a lot of fat to eat. So if you go from 2 kilos of fat a week to 1 kilo of fat a week, you're going to lose fat if you're obese.
Yeah.
But it'll take a lot longer because you're still eating too much fat. So I would say it's not raw versus cooked or vegan versus omnivore.
Yeah.
It's macros. Macros matter. And if you're into weight loss and health, then vegan macros are going to help you for sure be better because there's less waste products and the pesticides and that meat now that's really concentrated in the mercury in the fish. And you can get tuna and stuff, which is low fat, but it's full of mercury, and heme iron. So if someone's got hematochromatosis or has mercury levels that are high and they're adding in this heme iron and mercury poison fish, then we're excluding all ethical environmental discussion here. But
Now, a lot of people ask me, like, I have a direct line to you, which I don't, obviously. What do you mean by smash it in? Everybody wants me to ask you, what do you mean by smash it in? Because everybody's like, talking about the high carb Hannah and making the videos about, how she got fat off Raw So 4. And what is What is your, deal with the smashing? I don't really actually even hear you saying that really anymore, but like what was, because everybody, and then in a couple of my videos, I have a little GIF of you pouring the sugar on the cereal. I mean, it triggers people like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
So what is your thought behind the smashing in? Was it with the anorexics, or was it just everybody?
Everyone. Smash it in, like smash out life, like smash out the content, smash out the passion, smash it. Like I still recommend people smash it in life, smash in the sleep, all right, smash in the water, smash in the sugar, smash in the fruit, smash in the rice, just smash it in, smash out life. Like we have a life these days where people are like just tiptoeing around and like, any of us could be dead at any moment.
Yeah.
All right. Any of us, this could be my last interview ever. I understand that. Like every day you could be dead. Next hour, doing stroke, house crashes down, you get hit by a car, you crash your car, getting by a freaking Taipan in your nutsack, whatever. You could be dead any second. So I believe in smashing it in, live every day like it's your last. Live every hour like it's your last. Your last fuck, your last kiss, your last whatever you do. Just smash it out. All right. So to live at that level of intensity requires a sufficient amount of carbohydrate, and primarily sugars, glucose, fructose, sucrose.
Yeah.
So I tell people, eat as much as you want. And in reference to High Carb Hannah, she's a cool chick. I created that name, High Carb Hannah. I monetized her account on YouTube. She came to Thailand. I helped her get a career started, told her what thumbnails to use. And she introduced her to her husband, Derek.
Yeah.
And all that help I gave her, that was because I'm smashing in the carbs. If I'm doing some calories in, calories out protocol where I'm barely just enough energy to just look after myself, I can't help anyone. So I'm sitting there, I'm like eating, again, like I said before the start of the interview, I'm eating more fruit, more rice, more sugar than any nutritionist is going to recommend for my activity levels, which are pretty low these days. I'm almost 45. I don't train the house down like I did back in the day when I was having cycling goals. So I couldn't help people like High Carb Hannah build a career. I build careers for people.
Yeah.
I set people up. I change people's lives. I help them change their lives. If they want it, like if I was doing calories in, calories out, I couldn't have taken freely. I'll use her a lot because she's on social media and people know us. She's fine with it. I couldn't have gotten Freely, who was like battling with eating disorders. Again, this is all her wording, not me making any stories up. She was abusing clenbuterol and all these weight loss drugs, and in the gym scene, just getting passed around as a gym basic and doing calories in, calories out, just, water fasting, just desperate, man, desperate to get results, and a good girl, but just confused and like everyone else out there. If I didn't have the energy from my excessive carbohydrate diet, where would she be now? She would be obese with probably 5 kids living in Caboolture, Australia. All right. Yeah. She would. All right. And like the energy to do an interview with you, like how many people out there, like how many subscribers you got on YouTube?
It's over 1,000 now. So I'm pretty happy.
1,000. Like,
yeah.
And I've got over, 200K.
Yeah.
Try and get an interview with someone with 200K subs or with over 400 million views. People that don't, they don't care. They don't want to talk to people who have lesser accounts than them or whatever. They don't have the clout.
Yeah.
I do. I want to help people. I've got the energy to do it. This is my passion. Right. Yeah. So that's why I tell people, smash in the carbs, your sugar, your fruit, your rice, smash in the water, smash in the sleep. Don't be afraid of sleep. Don't be afraid to rest. Don't be afraid of water, sugars, fruits. Okay. So smash it out. We have so much work to do in society to help people. You really got to load up. It's so hard to eat enough carbohydrate. I've got right now. I'm drinking. I've got about this much sugar in the bottle here.
Yeah, with
a little sports drink powder for a bit of flavor. So I'm sneaking in the sugars. People hang out with me like, "Honey, you don't eat much." I just see
a few people have told me about it. Yeah.
So that's where the smash it in premise comes. How much do you need? As much as you need when it comes to sleep, water, sugar. Your body will tell you. You like when you've had enough sugar, you're like gagging. When you've had enough sleep, you're like, I can't sit in bed another second. I'm getting out of here. I've got cabin fever. Yeah. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
So same with water. Like you pee in every 2 or 3 hours clear.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Perfect. And, a lot of people say that if they're raw foodists and they go to start eating cooked food, that they actually either stop losing weight. I've actually had that happen or start gaining weight. And that's actually kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Driving me crazy. What are your thoughts on that one?
That's a great question. And again, I've been coaching people since 1996 with weight loss and raw food, coaching people since like 2001, 2002. So I've seen it all. I've been over to people's houses with the authors, pretty much everyone, from Dave Wolf to Doug Graham, hang out with them in person, hear their story, blah, blah, blah. And great times. And I appreciate people giving me time back in the day. So let's talk about you. So you're, how tall are you, Ryan?
I'm 6 foot.
6 foot, same as me. So it was both 6 foot. What's your age? About
42 in a month.
Dang, you look younger. Yeah. Okay. You look younger.
It was because I just let things like go over my head. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, good. You got kids?
No.
That makes sense. That makes things easy. You got a vasectomy?
No. I'm just really good at timing things. You know?
Oh yeah. That's the Murphy's Law will be coming for you then.
Yeah. No,
don't say that.
Yeah.
You get sperm jack maybe. Yeah. That's why we recommend a vasectomy. But anyway, so you look youthful, you're easygoing. So what's your weight about? So you're 6 foot.
About 255, 260. But keep in mind, I weightlifted for 20 years and I have a decent amount of mass on me. So I mean, at one point I was squatting in 800s and stuff. I mean, I was
okay. So you got some muscle mass there.
Yeah, I'm not like one of these skinny dudes. I mean, you can see. I mean, I don't know. You could still.
Okay. So you're probably about 80 kilos. Ideal lean weight.
Probably somewhere 80 to 90, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I'd say probably about looking at your jawline and shoulder ratio, I'd probably say about 82 kilos. You'd be shredded, ripped, looking quite athletic on my protocols.
Yeah.
So in terms of raw food versus my protocols, raw food, people lose weight, but it's more from like just what's the word? Lack of glycogen. The muscle wastes away. They just become anemic because it's just so hard to get enough sugars on raw food. It's there's a place in Thailand called Rayong, Thailand.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best fruit in the world if you're a fruitarian, if you're a fruit lover, in terms of availability, ripeness, quality, and price. Like you can go there and you could get, probably 3,000 calories a day reasonably easily at the market almost every day, year round. But that's, so you can do a raw food diet and be pretty going cranking, but otherwise you're going to fail. The amount of logistics and work for it. So generally people undereat massively when they eat raw food. And when we undereat, then we lose weight, but the metabolism takes a dive. Yeah. So that's what I tell people. People focus on weight loss. But I'm like, that's not good because you're not looking after your metabolism. You're not looking after your hormones. You're going to give yourself insulin resistance or metabolic rebounds, adaptive thermogenesis. Your thyroid's going to get tweaked out. Your thyroid, your TSH is going to go up. Your T3, T4 is going to go down. You're going to have thyroid suppression there on the T3, T4. You're going to have testosterone suppression, estrogen suppression. And those things will cause weight loss, but you feel like shit. Yeah. And what's the good if we look a certain way, but we can't perform in the bed or the boardroom or in life in general? Like that's a fail. That's a fail. I mean, look at Robin Williams. He was sugar phobic.
Yeah.
And he failed in life. One of the funniest guys ever. But he took his own life because he was so depressed because his serotonin was so low from his sugar phobia, etc. So the weight, people focus on the weight, and I get it. Weight's super important. Aesthetics is important to society, but if we focus on that, then we often get tempted to go the wrong way to get that goal. Just like money, like I want to make money, and then people will start doing robberies and violence or scamming people, selling their soul, selling out.
Yeah.
And then people get mad depressed, even though they think money was going to make them happy. So I would say that raw food versus cooked food, forget all those things, just my protocol. My protocol is the best. And it sounds arrogant, but there's nothing that comes close. It allows for maximum glycogen retention, maximum recovery, better sleep quality, going a bit earlier, minimum insulin resistance, etc. And it just boom, just leans people out, and they feel great. They feel better, more productive. And for me, I want energy. Energy is a priority for me. Yeah, sustainable energy, not where I'm up one day and then crash the next day because I use all these stimulants today, and next day I'm like, dead. Look at guys like Casey Neistat who work really hard. Plus extras, and then their eyes, man, the black circles under their eyes. And Casey ain't happy. He's not happy. Like his wife's not happy. If your wife ain't happy, you're not happy. Happy life, happy wife, happy wife, happy life. So it's like these calories in, calories out. And it translates to his wife and his kids. So there's a little connection there. You know, people aren't happy because the masculine presence is less because these calories in, calories out focused. So so if you were my protocols, 100%, 82 kg. You know, you might even go lower than that. But if you're doing weights, maybe not. But that's what I'd say.
I had to have my ankle replaced, so I haven't lifted ever since then. I that's a different situation. But I do have to tell you that since November, my thyroid was down, and actually I started dumping in the sugar, and it went back up. I've actually lost about 30 pounds in the last, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever. But I've noticed that when I get my blood work done, that when you add in the sugar, that the thyroid actually does start working again, which I was really happy about.
So your TSH went down?
TSH went down and my T4 went up.
Yes. And did you feel better?
I do. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then feeling better is what life's about.
Yeah. 100%.
Feeling that's what life's about. Like, look how many people out there in Hollywood who are slim, but they're coked out of their head. They're absolutely miserable. Yeah. They're driving Bugattis, got the hot girls or the hot guys around them, but absolutely miserable because they just feel shit because their serotonin's so low. That's not winning.
No, it's not.
Okay. So I'll just say, I mean, anyway, any questions?
Yeah. I mean, another thing is people want to exercise themselves to death. And I really don't think that that's necessary. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, again, it comes from what we call anorexia athletica, where people are just like, can't take a day off. You know, their shins are sore. They just strap them up, put ice cubes on them and go back out there. And then you see them 2 weeks later, they're in a moon boot. They walk around the boot, you know, they've got a stress fracture in their shin. Yeah. And I know people on crutches doing laps of the block on crutches with a moon boot. And then the next leg gets a stress fracture, you know, and then the pelvis goes, and then the back goes, and then they're like got pins in their back and they just can't take a day off. Yeah. And they're absolutely not someone you want to be around because you have to tread on vegan eggshells around because they're just so, and that's sad. When I lived in New York, I go to Central Park almost every day and community through the town. I just sit there and people watch. And you see the calories in, calories out people in Central Park. It's an amazing place for people watching. You'll see them walking around. There'll be 50 or 60 those anorexic shells, you know, just heaps of money. You can tell they got money. Oh, yeah. And, and they're just walking around at like 10-minute mile pace, trying to shuffle along and I'm just like, damn, that's calories in, calories out. End game right there, you know? Yeah. And in the meantime, their last 20 or 30 years would have been absolute hell. And if they did my protocol, they'd have glow and have maximum life quality. We need exercise. We're humans. Like the body's machine needs to be moved, but people take it again to the extreme, and you can't exercise a fatty diet. Most ultra endurance cyclists or runners are quite tubby, from what I've seen, what I see, because they just eat too much fat. They get hungry, and then they load up on the fat, and they wear more fat. And they've got to do more training to burn fat off, and it's just like bottom spiral pit to the end, and their life quality sucks every day. Yeah. But but I'm not sure if I answered your question before about raw food, weight loss. People do raw and then they're losing weight and then they're going back to cooked food. It's like, what are they going back to? You know, like, are they vegan or are they going back to maybe high fat vegan foods or things like that? So it's like, well, I tell people just macros matter, low fat, low fat, low fat.
Yeah, let's say that they went back to like less than 10 grams uncooked, but they start gaining weight. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
It could also be aldosterone, which is like a hormone that, you know, fluctuates our potassium and sodium balance and water retention. So if someone's cutting out all salt, then aldosterone levels will go to a certain level and adapt to that and hold on to salt. And then when we start adding in salt again, the body goes, boom, it balloons right out. Yeah. Until the aldosterone levels balance out to more sodium intake. Okay. That's why I tell people, you know, you can have salt, you know, don't be like abusing salt on your food. Like you can shake sugar on your food, but don't be shaking too much salt in your food, especially if you've got high blood pressure. Yeah. But otherwise salt's fine, you know. If you've got high blood pressure, then cut the salt until your blood pressure stabilizes. But if you do my protocol, your blood pressure is going to go really good anyway. So that's what I'd say is that then people go, I had cooked food and I gained weight. No, it was more that our aldosterone levels got all tweaked out, adapted to your low sodium intake, and then you added salt in, and then you got this weight gain on the scales, and you got more glycogen. I'm getting fat. I gained weight. And then you jump on the forums. I gained weight. And people are like, oh my God, you gained weight. I gained weight. And there's no context there at all, you know. I gained weight. Dude, I gained weight. Your protocol. Yeah. And it's like, you gained 2 pounds, dude, and you're still anorexic. You need to gain another 20. So context is so important. What does context mean? It means like, that person punched me in the face. No, you punched him in the face first. So, oh, yeah, I did. You know, so it's context. I gained weight. How much did you gain? 2 pounds. Dude, you need to gain weight. Now you're hydrated. I gained 50 pounds. Dude, you're on SSRI medications and you're sneaking KFC. You know, like there's context. But coaching thousands of people teaches me the context and teaches me what works and what doesn't. So context is very important for people to understand. Yeah. I encourage people to become a context detective, a context forensic. Probe, get details, information, go to people's Instagram accounts, scroll down. Oh, you say you didn't eat oily food. What do I see here on March 15th? Oh. Yeah. So it's like, and we all lie. People lie because we don't want people to realize we're not perfect. But when you're trying to help someone with weight loss and they lie, it's hard. But I can see straight through it now. I know what they're doing. But it can be hard because people on the outside listening to the conversation, they're like, well, you know, this person's not lying. They're telling the truth, but I know they're lying because, they don't look like they would look like if they were doing what I recommend or vice versa. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. But if the goal is to health and weight loss and feel better, I'm just going to tell people straight up. Yeah. What they should do.
Speaking of which, you talk about 10 grams of carbs per kilogram. Do you still go by that, or is that
for sure? Benchmark? I mean, that's a lot of volume. Most people can't stomach that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you don't have to eat that much, but if you can, if you eat that much, and you're like, wow, I feel heaps better. You know, I was under eating before, and now I feel so much better. I got more energy for the kids and bedroom, and my husband's more attracted to me because I'm more feminine. Because I'm not a hangry bitch anymore. I'm not a beta dude no more. Then 10 grams works for you. You might need 10 grams of carbs per kilo body weight per day, but some people might only be 15. Some people get away with maybe 6 grams of carbs per body weight. I'm stuffed, I'm done, I've got energy, I'm good. 6 grams is enough for me today. Maybe on Thursday I'll need 8 grams or whatever. But your body will soon adapt. Not adapt, but your body will let you know what's enough and what's not enough. Some people have 10 grams of carbs per kilo body weight per day, and they're still ravenously hungry because they've got hyperphagia because they just finished a water fast, or they've been doing some keto nonsense or calories in, calories out. So they might need even up to 20 grams for a week or two until the hyperphagia gets suppressed and they get back to a normal level.
Yeah. I'm not into them fast and juice fast. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It just causes mad rebound and anemia.
Yeah.
But generally I find the average person, for me, I need at least 600 to 800 grams of carbs a day, and then I'm feeling the best. But it's hard to eat, man. That's a lot of carbohydrate volume ones. It's hard to get enough. It's discipline. Going to bed early is discipline. Drinking your water is discipline. Eating the carbs is discipline. That's discipline. I mean, it's just nature's rewards the discipline with better results.
Yeah. I mean, because then people see people like, Moneybags, Life Regenerator over there talking about he eats so much fat. It baffles me how, but he's always out there. Like he's always floating in space. He's always got trauma and issues and everything. I'm like, if you want that, go for it. But I just want nothing to do with it. I initially, cause Arnold over at Arnold's Way. That's actually, I mentioned years. I was 405 at that point. So I look nothing alike. But,
for you were 405 pound.
What's that? Yeah, I was 405. And
coming down the ground.
Yeah. But anyway, at that point, I was kind of doing a mix between what Arnold was telling me and a mix between Life Regenerator. But that's why I fell off, because I just couldn't do it anymore. And
it's not sustainable.
It's unsustainable. And that's,
Dan the man, he eats everything. He's out drinking his beer and doing his party drugs and smoking cigarettes. He's just doing it all, he's not transparent about what he really does. But we've got personal friends, He's not just eating a bit of cashew cream and some green juice, you know. Again, he's another dude with eating disorder, you know.
Yeah.
So there's people that abuse the drugs to avoid eating, and then like that guy called, was it Healthy Crazy Cool or Crazy Healthy Cool or whatever? I called it over a year ago. So this guy's abusing stimulants and abusing opioids.
Yeah.
And then eventually someone's like, he made a video saying, I am. Unless he's transparent about it, you know.
Yeah.
But these people just have raging eating disorders, you know, and that's where their life quality sucks. Yeah, their relationships don't want to be in. They got kids they didn't want, you know. It's sad, man. A lot of guys in the vegan community, in the fitness community in general, in the closet gay, and that's okay. Being gay, no worries, but they don't have the energy to get out of the closet. All right.
Yeah.
Healthy, Crazy, Cool, one of them. You know, so I tell people, man, like, if you're gay or whatever, just come out, man. Life's a lot easier. Fuck what your parents say, you know? Fuck what your parents say. You know, if they're going to accept your choices, don't worry about it. You know? No. Don't worry about it. But that weighs a lot of guys out there. You know, if they can just come out, they're going to have a lot better quality of life for sure. Healthy, Crazy, Cool, one of them.
You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, we can talk as long as you want, man.
Okay. I did want to hit on cycling because I'm actually really, I love cycling. Before the surgery, I actually was putting thousands and thousands of miles on a year. I don't know.
Ankle surgery?
Yeah. There's actually one of my bikes sitting there.
Cyclocross bike?
Yeah, it's actually a tricross. I tend to like buying the cheapest bike I possibly can. I don't like spending a lot of money on it, especially because I live in the city and you just never know when somebody's going to jack you up. But do you think somebody needs to get into carbon, or do you think it's a bad idea to start in carbon, especially if you're overweight? Because I know you used to talk about the carbon really wasn't a big deal, that steel was better, but that was years ago. And now you're really into the carbon. So what do you think somebody be better off? I mean, obviously they know how to ride a bike, but if you think somebody would be better off starting off with steel, aluminum before carbon, or do you think somebody could hop on carbon first?
Yeah, again, great question, Ryan. There's context. Someone like you who's been riding for a while, they know how to park their bike. They're not just like they're going to drop their bike as much. But if it's a brand new noob and they go and buy a lightweight carbon bike, and then they have their crashes or they park their bike and then it falls over and lands on a point of the brick wall and just cracks the top tube. Like, oh my God, my bike, you know? Yeah. So for noobs, carbon's not a good idea. Right? For experienced riders like you and me, then carbon's fine because we care for it better. But at the same time, the alloy these days is as good as the carbon in terms of weight, pretty much. You know, so if we're chasing every single second on a climb, then having the lightest stuff possible is what we want, but then at the expense of durability. So I'd say the bike you have there, you know, is a great thing to have. You know, that's tricross. Yeah. And you're in Cleveland, Ohio. What's the road conditions like there? They're smooth,
pretty
or bumpy?
Shit. Because we get such crazy stuff like lake areas. Like I live on the beach basically. Lake Erie is the most unpredictable lake in all of the Great Lakes because it's only 60 feet deep. So it can go from 0 to like 15-foot waves in 10 minutes or so, you know, some crazy. So the roads here just can't handle it. So that's why, I actually, I haven't mentioned this on my channel yet, but I actually had a Madone blow up on me. I was coming down a hill. It was a pretty steep hill. I was coming down this hill and there was railroad tracks. I'm like, this might not be great. And then it was a valley basically. And I hit those railroad tracks. The top tube and the bottom tube blew off and I went flying with that. And then the rest of the bike, I've had some crazy accidents on bikes. The rest of the bike was there. And I called somebody. I'm like, come pick me up. So, and truck rebuilt it for me. And I sold it. I'm like, I am done with carbon. I've actually only really ridden steel, honestly, since then. This is my only aluminum bike. But so I'm not really a big proponent of it because I went flying with half of my bike. I mean, obviously there was something wrong with the bike. I'm sure that's not a common situation, but and I wasn't really that heavy. I was like maybe 225. But at that point in time, I was around 8% body fat. So because that was really back in my lifting days. And I was only doing cycling, just to kind of like help out my squats. That's all I cared about. Like, how much can I squat? What kind of percentages? That's all I cared about that at that point in time. But that kind of freaked me out a bit.
What were you the only owner of that bike?
Yeah, I bought it brand new. Yeah,
you bought it brand new, and it did that.
Yeah, it was not that old. What's that?
Did you have any crashes on it?
No, it was not a very old bike. It was maybe 2 weeks old.
Wow, that's really random.
Yeah.
You got any photos of it?
Not anymore. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, this was a really old. It was a Madone that was a gray and a yellow. It was probably around 2006 or 7, somewhere in there. I mean, nobody really had, we don't have these things,
that's
back
right,
in the day.
That's right. Yeah, I hear you.
So, I mean, I grew up going to school and everything that we didn't even know what cell phones were. You know what I mean? So just, I don't really have any pictures.
Yeah, that's really so. And then Trek gave you a warranty frame.
Yeah, they gave me a warranty frame, and then I sold it because I didn't want anything to do with it after. I figured it was just a random fault, but
that's. I mean, the fact that they gave you warranty means that it was a random, really, really random.
Yeah.
Accident sort of situation like that. So, I'd say that's like 1 in a million.
I know. Yeah, lucky me.
And lucky you weren't really hurt.
Yeah, no, I was just a big dude. I kind of rolled. I mean, I had scrapes all over me. It wasn't great, but it's just. But
I also wonder as well. I mean, there's a possibility that you crashed the bike flipped, and then it snapped upon impact on the ground. Is that a possibility, or you reckon it separated when you hit the bike?
I remember hitting the railroad tracks, and the next thing that I knew, I was airborne, flying. Because all the railroad tracks, they always had those rocks, so they can kind of level out. And all I remember is hitting those rocks, and I was like, wow. And then I looked back, and the rest of the bike was just on the tracks.
Yes, so there is the chance as well that the bike did catastrophically fail. Or the tubes just separated. That's the chance.
Yeah.
There also is the chance that you hit something, maybe something got wedged in your front wheel, like a little U-bolt thing, and just flipped you over. And then when your bike landed,
possible. Oh yeah, of course, it's possible. Yeah. I mean, I've gone OTB really bad twice, so it's not fun. But so that's why I don't tell people to buy carbon ever since then. But I love your videos. And now if I was to buy carbon, I would buy something from that era again, because I don't like where bikes are going now. It just doesn't.
But I mean, carbon's I like carbon because you can get the super, super light 800 gram frame, but otherwise there's no point using carbon. But, alloy is great. Like I ride my alloy Cannondale, I ride my alloy Specialized, I ride my alloy Trex. Alloy is fantastic material.
Yeah.
But for where you're living, I reckon, there's fat tires, like on the Tri-Cross bike there, that's great.
Yeah.
If you've got bumpy, rough roads, then, fatty tires is good. And that fat tire is going to give you good ride quality on those rough roads.
Yeah.
In Adelaide, the road quality is really good. So I use 25, 23 mil tires, 100 PSI. That sounds like if I lived in Cleveland, I'd run, fatter tires, might like a gravel bike, something like that.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the road's a bit rough over there.
Well, it depends. I mean, I don't want to talk about Cleveland, but like I live on the lake. If you live back, then you're not going to have them issues. But
okay. Yeah.
So power meter, I've never actually used one because I'm like, I got to stop at every stoplight and stop sign. So I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense. But do you think somebody
will
get one?
But when you're doing your power meters are great. They're just like, everyone should have a power meter, for sure.
Yeah.
Just to see the what you can do for 1 minute or 5 minutes and make the connection with like, your hemoglobin levels and your carbohydrate intake sufficiency. And when you eat too much fat, your legs feel blocked and you can't push the watts as much. And no, the power meter, I recommend power meter for everyone. It's like going to the gym and there's no numbers on the weights.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just throwing weights around, which is better than nothing. But like, it's sort of cool when you can see, okay, I can do, 70 kilo bench press or whatever, 100 kilo bench. And before I can only do 60 kilo, whatever. So I think the numbers in that aspect are really important. So I recommend power, not so that people get obsessed about it, but just so they go, oh, this is what I can do 500 watts for a minute, or I can do 200 watts. It just lets people know. And for me, that's what changed my nutrition really. So I was using Power Meter and I'm thinking, man, I'm doing 250 watts and struggling. Like, this isn't right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should be doing 400
true.
watts and struggling. And so that's what helped. Having the Power Meter changed me from all raw to like back on the protocol I was doing beforehand. Just seeing those numbers and feeling, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was doing 250 watts and getting dropped. That's not normal. So that's how I changed. Added in the sugars and the starches.
So that's where you started adding in the sugar is because of the Power Meter?
Because of the Power Meter, man.
Yeah, I meant to actually ask you about that because everybody's sugar phobic anymore. It's crazy, especially I think everybody everywhere in the world, other than maybe Asia. But I made a couple of videos of just shorts on YouTube of me adding sugar into a smoothie, and I mean the reactions to that were just it's unreal to me. And then I show people my blood work. I'm like, look, my T4 went up and my TSH went up by adding sugar in. And
TSH went up or down?
TSH went down, and then the T4 went up. Yeah. And
yes.
Yeah. So it's just.
And you look at you look like a happy dude. You're clear face. You look like you got energy. You don't look anemic and like just fatigued. You look like you could ride across America.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you could or not, I don't know, but you look like you could.
Yeah. One of these days I'm going to.
Eric Berg doesn't look like he'd ride across his driveway.
No, no.
Like,
I made a video about him and they came after me with copyright restrictions.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so that's what I mean. He's just a fraud. Yeah. People can use my stuff and debate me. No worries. I'll give him a copyright.
Yeah.
I'll invite him on. I'll debate him on their channel or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll talk to anyone. If I want to do an interview or whatever, we can set it up. No worries.
Yeah. So that is where the sugar came from. That I actually wanted to ask you about that. So that's where that came from. Were you adding sugar in before that?
Yeah, I've been a racing cyclist since '97, and I understand the importance of sugar. Before, as a raw foodist, as a fruitarian, I can get my sugar from fruit, and you get sugars from fruit. You get glucose, sucrose, and fructose, but it's not going to be enough. Unless you live in Rayong, Thailand, and you just got this like killer supply of fruit dripping on you all day. So, I know the importance of fruit. That's why I always laughed at the fruitarian, the raw food people out there who said fruit's bad. So I'm like, dude, you got to eat fruit. You need sugars, Fruit's important because of the sugar content. So I've always been pro sugar. Yeah, I've done experiments where I've like cut sugar out just for a couple of days just to see, like cut out carbohydrate for a couple of days just to see how, what the deal is, just so I can speak from experience and go into ketosis and absolutely feel like shit, Yeah. But yeah, that's why I tell people get a Power Meter. That'll expose all the BS. Yeah, I think every human should use a Power Meter just so they can understand like what energy really is.
Yeah,
and what fitness feels like.
Yeah,
I appreciate that people can do 7 watts per kilo, whatever what it takes, but that's drugs as well. But yeah, sugar is so important. Yeah, sugar is so important. And then the Power Meter mentality that goes on into your life. The same with doing the bench press and the squats. So like you go, okay, I'm going to do, 10 reps of this. And same when you're with your partner, your girl or your guy, whoever's in your life, you're going to give them that energy, that presence, at 400 watts or 500 watts or whatever, that intensity, So I think for me, the Power Meter teaches intensity in life and teaches the importance of sleep, water, sugar. If I don't go to bed early, 9 p.m., my power suffers, right? That's a huge one. Like there's been studies done when late nights, going to bed late, it causes insulin resistance, which will cause our weight to go up. So if someone's looking to gain weight, late nights will help them. If someone's looking to drop the weight in the scale, late nights will hinder them. Late nights trigger insulin resistance at some level in everyone. I even noticed that if I go to bed past 10 p.m., my motivation next day isn't as good.
That's interesting because I've always struggled with that. Like right now, what is it? It's 12:41.
Yeah, it's late.
And I've never been, because if I go to bed, and I'm hoping other people get something out of this, but like if I go to bed at 8:00, no matter when in my life and when I was in my single digits, I will wake up around midnight, like wide awake, can't go back to sleep. And that's why I started just going to bed later and later, because I will actually sleep 8 hours.
Yeah.
If I go to bed at like, 8, 9 o'clock, I'll sleep like 3 or 4 hours and that's it. I'll be up the rest of the entire next day. And that is what has turned into me being kind of like a night owl.
Yeah.
So
we're night owls with the invention of, the light globe.
Yeah.
And now the mobile phones and the screens. So if we're in nature, we're designed for those earlier nights. So what we do is we turn the lights on, we stimulate ourselves to stay up. And that's okay in some contexts, but the way to get into early nights is just to force it with discipline and just go to bed at 8 and get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., start the day at 4, 5 a.m. and just stay up all day. Yeah, if it's safe to do so, don't drive if you're tired, obviously. Yeah. Rest and revive, but just discipline at that first few days, just stay up, and then you go to bed at like 7, 8 p.m. because you've been up since 4 and you're being productive, and then that's how you start the cycle. It makes such a difference. It's a world of difference. You can have 8 hours of sleep a night, but if you're going to bed past midnight, it's not as good. It's such a difference. And I use anabolic steroids. I've done all the experiments with like various prescription drugs, recreational drugs. Nothing comes close to building motivation like early nights do.
I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
If someone said to me, 500 milligrams a week of pharmaceutical grade testosterone, modafinil, Ritalin, methylphenidate, Adderall, or in bed by 8 p.m. trumps all those drugs in terms of motivation, all of them. And I know because I've used them. I can speak from experience, like real stuff, prescription grade from the doctor, not fake street crap, like real shit. 8 p.m. bedtime, that is like next level motivation, in my opinion.
What did cause the anabolics, your experiment with it? And do you think you're going to end it?
I've cut back the dose and my weight's dropped, pretty quickly already. To the point people have commented. So yeah, but that I'm glad I've tried this out. It's not, it's not I'll dibble and dabble and I've things to do to experiment with, etc. Various compounds, but I'm glad I've tried it. So I can speak from experience. From experience. But my natural weight at 6 foot tall on my protocol is around 60 kilos to 65 kilo. Right. And with anabolics, it's like 75 to 82 kg.
Okay.
At the same levels of body fat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just goes to show you, how much hormones determine body weight. Insulin, estrogen, testosterone, pregnenolone, things like that, progesterone.
I assume you're not doing IGF-1 though.
No, I've never used IGF-1. I've never used EPO. I've never used GH. All I've used is oxandrolone, testosterone, all the esters, cypionate, propionate, enanthate, decanoate, undecanoate, winstrol, stanozolol, D-bol, and mesterolone. So that's all the compounds I've ever used. So no EPO, no tren, no clan.
Those are
no GH, no EPO.
Yeah.
No SARMs. I think SARMs are a medical experiment. I don't rate medical experiments personally. So yeah. Right. So it's not something I recommend people to do, by the way. It's not part of my protocol. This is just part of my journalism and personal curiosity.
I think this might be one of the last. B12.
Hey, we can do as many questions as you want, man.
B12.
We can do follow-up ones. We can do follow-up interview as well.
That actually might be better because then I'll have questions, more questions.
There'll be questions in the comments.
I'm sure I'm going to get attacked for it.
So good.
I think we're both August babies, aren't we? Are you
August 23rd?
Yeah, so we're both pretty similar personality.
How about you?
August 11th. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah. B12. Now, I've actually mentioned this to you before, and you said you can get injectables in America, but like other than script, I don't know how you do it. They make it so hard to get here. Like if you are even mine's at a 500. I don't know, what you would think is optimal, but what do you think somebody should be optimally? And if they can't get injectables, what's their?
Depends what their goal is. Do you know what your hemoglobin was last test?
It was high. It's always high.
What's high mean?
It's like 17.8,
17,
18.2.
Wow. That's almost like a anabolic territory. Yeah,
I know. I've been accused of being on stuff before. I'm like, you can come follow me all the time.
You're a fake natty. If you've got a natural, that's good.
Yeah, I've actually joked about you're going to call me fake natty by the time I finally get down to this, because I have a lot of muscle. I hate needles. I never went near this stuff. And 800 some pound squat. I mean, it's pointless anyway, because I wasn't competing. So I had no real need to get beyond that.
You sound like you have like Olympic level athletic genetics. I don't, but I'd say you do.
Yeah.
If you've got a natural level of like 18 or 180 hemoglobin, you're lucky there.
Yeah.
But with B12, how to get in the US, you get anything in America. I would get it online from Thailand or from Mexico. Go for just get on. Just ask around. Someone would have it. I remember doing it. Woodstock Fruit Festival. People bought ampules of B12 there. They got it from Thailand. They got it from Florida.
Yeah.
And we were just jabbing people up in the room. It's a shooting gallery at Woodstock Fruit Festival. It's classic. Yeah, I would say, what do I recommend for B12? I recommend people try it. And if they get a boost from it, they needed it. If they don't, then they don't, regardless of the diet. I've given hundreds of B12 injections to people over the last 13 years, since 2009. And a lot of them have been meat eaters, that
doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
It's not a vegan thing.
No,
there's no supplements you need because you're vegan. But I would say if people, I'd say it's a vitamin deficiency that's very common in the US and Australia. So I'd say just try it. Give yourself a few jabs, insulin needles, and if you feel better, you need it. If you didn't notice the difference, then you don't need it.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's easy to get if you want to find the source. But I'd probably get it online from Thailand. Or just jump on forums. It's the US. Like there's got to be someone out there who's doing it.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like people say in Australia, you can't get testosterone prescriptions from the doctors in Australia. I tried once. So it's like doctors give it out here so easy here.
Yeah.
Because
not hard.
A lot of doctors care about their patients' health and they don't want people using street testosterone from a dirty lab somewhere and wherever. So they'll give you a script, as long as you're standing responsible and blah, blah, blah. They don't want people to, no doctor, they don't sign the Hippocratic Oath to get people doing dodgy drugs of unknown sources, unknown quality. So you can get your script. You just got to know what to say,
Yeah.
And don't be rude about it. Don't be douche. So, but with B12 in America, I've definitely seen it there. Is it as easy as getting it in Australia? No, it's not. But there'll be a source somewhere. If it's online or whatever, you'll be able to get it. Just sniff around.
Yeah.
Sniff around.
Yeah, I tell actually.
Someone in the comment section will know.
Yeah, maybe. I actually tell people that I don't clean my potatoes. And my B12 is always, 500 or more. So I don't know if that has anything to do
Some people just produce enough, but when we cook things or we cook the meat or cook the dirty potatoes, we often destroy the B12. But some people just need more B12 than others.
Yeah.
It's not a vegan thing. It's the only supplement that I'd recommend people take and just see if it works for them. If it doesn't, I rarely take it these days because my hemoglobin's so high from the anabolics. But yeah, I noticed a difference when I took it. My hemoglobin went from 135 to 150 to 157. Mm-hmm. So for me, I needed it as an athlete. But I used to take B12 back in the day when I was a meat eater,
Did you?
So it's like, it's always in cycling, everyone takes B12 injections,
well, that would make sense. Yeah.
And running at a certain level. So it's, just look on, just get on the forums in America and have a sniff around. It's there.
Yeah.
It's definitely there.
Yeah. All right.
And if you have to get, if you have to get it from the doctor, just tell the doctor, I'm B12 deficient. I ran out of injections. I've just moved up from Florida. Can I get a prescription? They'll give it to you.
That might work. All right.
But I'll go online, probably cheaper.
I think we'll cut it here. I'm sure there's going to be questions. I'll be in touch. Maybe we can do another one of these.
Yeah.
And, all right. So it's been Durian Rider. Subscribe, do all that good fancy stuff.
Leave a hate comment, leave a troll comment.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do. And thanks for watching.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks for being here.
No worries, man. That's good. We finally worked out the time, schedules, etc.